What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another solo leveling Arise video. Alright guys, we got ourselves a brand new tier list for weapons. That's right, we're going to update this one. We've done it before. Okay, we've got some modifications to make this time around, and we're going to make sure that we explain everything that's modified from the previous tier list, just so everyone's on the same page. Okay, so real quick here, just so everyone is aware, the previous one is in fact right over here. Let me just quickly find weapon tier list, and we guys can compare and contrast all the weapons that we have on this tier list. Okay, so let me just quickly go ahead and mute this, and we'll just fast forward my video to the last part of the tier list. I'm going to show you guys the modifications as we make them. Okay, so here's the full tier list. Ignore my face obviously right there, but we'll show you guys this one here, and then we'll go ahead and make modifications to the new one for anything that I feel like should be modified. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with some of these lower end ones. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did last time, guys. We're going to go ahead and put in the rares right in the rare section. And let's go ahead with the SRs first. So we'll start off with Sun Jin Woo's SRs. So first off, Baruka's Daggers. So this one here is going to be an A. Now the reason why it's going to be an A is very straightforward here. It's because it requires A5 to really be fully functional. Now I had an A before, and I'm going to keep it A there as well too, because not many people are going to be able to get A5s. SRs sometimes are more rare than SSRs, believe it or not. So that alone is going to give it a little bit of trouble. So once you do get it to A5, this will go to OP. But for now, because I have to consider free-to-play players as well, like my free-to-play account, it's not going to be as valuable as some of the other Sun Jin Woo weapons, right? So just keep that in mind. Dark Weapon, also an A. Now, this one here also requires a lot of dupes. It's a great weapon, don't get me wrong. Again, once you get it up, it goes OP, but for free-to-play, it's going to stay there. For pay-to-win, there's way too many good dark options, so you're really not going to use that much. It's more of a for fun niche weapon, but again, nothing to write home about. Grimoire, I'm going to give this, we're going to give this an S. It's actually super strong, like crazy good strong. So not as strong as the orb, but still very comparable and still valuable as a fire weapon, and can do a lot of damage for both free to play and pay to win players if you plan to use it over the orb, it's much better than my opinion than Night Killer. So speaking of Night Killer, we're going to give this an A. It's still a pretty good weapon, has really good defense penetration. Decay is not a bad option as well too, as it blows up and does AoE, so still pretty good. Let's go ahead with the this one I was completely wrong about. So if you guys look back here, actually no, I had it as an S actually. No, that's still an S. Yeah, it's correct. It's correct. Never mind. So that's still there. Amazing weapon. Think of God of War if you play the newest one, Ragnarok, where he throws a javelin. Insane amount of damage. Very quick animations, and can throw I think up to 5 of them at a time. So very strong. Fire. Okay. So I love the animation on the sword, and I love the actual look of the sword, but it's too slow and it doesn't do enough damage, and the domain is kind of small. So I'm going to put this down to a B. I don't know what I had it before. It was an A before, so we've dropped that quite a bit, so we're going to keep that one there. Let's go to the next SR. Frost Sword. This one's tough because it's a good weapon. Actually, you know what? I might put it here. It's a good weapon. It's going to probably be the lower end of the scale there. It's just not as strong as the Grimoire, obviously, right? And I always like to do comparisons between the SSR and the SR version, because some SRs are actually stronger, but this weapon is a mini Grimoire with a little bit less bang, and honestly still hard to get once in a while. So still a good weapon. I still highly recommend it as a water weapon, but quite honestly, I take the Kasaka blades over this. You know what? I'm gonna drop this down. I'm debating here. Now I'm like here, maybe here, like that kind of. Yeah, you know what? We'll do it like that. I think that makes more sense. Kasaka Blade's still incredible weapon. Bleed's awesome. The fact that it teleports to the enemy when you're close enough, saving you that distance to save a dash. Damage is great. If you end up getting a couple Avers, I got A5 on my free to play, which is crazy. You get to do the poison as well too, so you add poison to the mix now. So overall, and you do healing reduction. Overall, an incredibly powerful weapon and absolutely worth leveling up if you have it. Lustrous Sword also going to be S here. This one here, I mean, listen, early on, it gets you where you need to go in the game, in story mode especially, right? It pushes you to past Igris and other content, and you can continue using it pretty much throughout. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm almost wanting to put it down to an A, because I don't think it's as good as the Javelin, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it down to an A. I think the Javelin is a better option, so I got to compare and contrast. Now that I've played the game and tested every weapon out even more thoroughly than before, I have to kind of consider that, right? And you can see here I had it as an S before. I don't think that's true anymore. I think it's a high A, and I think also the where is it? The Night Killer also is going to drop down. So we're going to go ahead and drop. See, I dropped a few already, right? You guys can see here the 2 have been dropped. So let's go back here. And it makes sense. This one stayed, obviously. These are I'm going to be a little more critical now that I've had a chance to test everything, both on free-to-play and pay-to-win. Great water weapon. Great water weapon. This one actually is worth having an S because it does so much freaking damage, man. Especially those little bubbles leaves behind, just like the Grimoire. I think this is a much better option than the Frost Sword. Frost Sword is better for CC, obviously, and has erosion options, but this one here, overall, from a damage perspective, is a much better option. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, this one here, originally, I had it high up. You guys can see here. I was testing it early level, and then I got into my free-to-play account, and I started testing it, and it's actually pretty shitty for a dark weapon. It just takes too much effort to use. It's super slow, and I think it requires you to kill opponents to really see it shine. On bosses, it's pretty useless. So, too many good dark weapons to use it. So, this one actually falls down from an S to a C. That's right, guys. Sorry about that if you had leveled up. I did more testing. And again, this is going to be a monthly update, right? So keep that in mind, okay? So now we're going down to good weapon here. So I'm going to give this a little bit more love now because shields are becoming more powerful. Defense plus is pretty good. Now, when you get into hard mode, survivability becomes a pretty major deal. So the actual Golem Hammer is not a bad option anymore, but still not the greatest weapon on the arsenal. You guys can see here, there's been quite a vast change now in the SRs. Now, I saved the best for last, obviously, right? So, OP, OP, and absolutely OP. Like, I would say this is the order here, okay? Broken. Absolutely broken weapons. If you guys have been watching any of my live streams on my free-to-play or my pay-to-win, you guys see I use these weapons very, very often, especially Westwind, probably being the strongest weapon in the game. So we're going to leave those there, okay? So just everyone's set up. Now, in regards to the SR Hunter weapons, we're going to do a little bit of a swap now because a lot has changed. So for SR Hunter weapons, we're going to give this one the crit damage bow very good because if you have high crit damage bow is one of your best options, especially for crit characters. The core attack one, I'm going to put B. Some units can use it if they have good core attacks. Overall, not many units are really reliant on it. This one here, I mean, listen, if you care about taking less damage from bosses, sure. It doesn't really have any use for me personally. Weakness weapon, one of the best ones out there. Using this one with any elemental weakness opponents with the right unit is incredible. It does so much more damage for you. So there's that. I believe this one here is basic attacks, pretty damn good as well. Power acquisition, I would put OP. And this one, I forgot what this one does, guys. One sec, I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure this was. I don't remember what this one does. I remember it not being that good though. So let me see what I had it before. I'm pretty sure that stayed the same. Yeah, C, right? Did I put it as C or B? Okay, we'll leave it the same. I forgot what it does. I apologize, guys. It's been a while since I've actually used that weapon at all for any hunter. Okay, so there you guys go. Those are all the SR weapons. These ones here for sure, guys. They're gonna be the best weapons you're gonna carry for a long time, even over some SSRs. Okay, speaking of SSRs, let's go back into SSR land. All right. Now I've got A3 Vulcan and I've got A3 Longsword. I'll be honest with you guys, because of Westwind and the Daggers, I'll put this low end SS Broken, low end. Even at A3, I still don't think it's that good of a weapon. I'm being real with you guys. A lot of people will argue this and say it's the best weapon in the game. I disagree. I highly disagree with that. So that one's there. Vulcan still deserves S. I think it's the best fire weapon in the game next to Orb of Avarice. And can do insane damage, but requires a lot, and I'm talking about a lot of dupes, guys. So I'm going to put this down 1 to S. Huntsman definitely deserves an SS broken weapon for sure. One thing to note about the Huntsman, so thank you for those who tested it. I don't have it at A5. I have mine at A4, but A5 Destroy apparently does not stack 99 times. It's like a gimmick number, at least for now it is. So maybe in the future we may see some better use for it. But at the moment, it's definitely not viable to get that number, which would have made it the most powerful weapon in the game, I'd imagine, if we were able to do that, okay? Grimoire, for sure. Definitely deserves SS. I'm going to put that over here. Erosion, 50% more damage to Frozen when you get it to A5. Overall CCing, the distance, how much it covers from a width perspective and a length perspective. The fact that the basic attacks are actually really powerful, leaving bubbles behind. Everything about this weapon is incredible. So gonna put that there as well. Plum Sword, yeah, Yep. Scythe. Yep, for sure. These ones are all broken. And then the Moon Dagger, even though I haven't tested it, I've seen it. It's definitely up there as well too. Here, we'll just do this, okay? Just so everybody sees it. And then this is probably, I'd say this is probably the order that I go in for SSRs. And then like the most probably broken weapon in the game is that one there. So I think I'd probably organize it this way for all of that. Now, let's move on to the actual SSR weapon for hunters. Now this has not changed very much, okay? So I'm going to show you guys pretty much how this goes. So these two, I think this is actually much better than I gave it credit for. Dongsu is actually a unit I'm going to build up for sure and test out. I think he's got a lot of high end potential. Pretty good for Wu, but Wu as a unit sucks, so that's kind of shitty. If we go back to here, I think the rest of them are all over here. Yep, they're all over here. Perfect. This for sure. COs I'm going to drop, Sao I'm going to drop down to S, because you have to build her a specific way to use this. And that way has to be pretty much, what's his name? Has to be crit. So if you don't build her crit and you build her shield, for example, she doesn't have a crit, that crit damage is useless. So I'm going to put her down a slot. Choi's for sure going to get S. It's incredible for him. Lim is also going to get an S, great there. Libora, honestly, also probably low end S, but I'll give her an SS for those two. S down here. She's probably like right over here, I'd say, for that. And then Emma's is amazing, so I'll put Emma up there. And the only one I'm missing here, guys, because the tier list doesn't have it, is SM Bex, and his now that it's fixed is going to also be SS here. So just keep that in mind. Although I don't have it listed here, it is going to be in this list right here. So let me go back, actually put it into the list, and we'll finish off this tier list. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I've gone ahead and added it back in. Now, the SM back weapon actually does do insane amount of damage, especially for him. So personally, I would put it here just because it does increase his damage quite substantially. So this is probably how we're going to look in terms of the full tier list. So there you guys have it. This is the weapon tier list completed. If you have any comments or questions, obviously let me know in the comment section. Now remember, rares I put there because eventually, even though you can get them to A10 fairly quickly, you will upgrade to SRs. It's only a matter of time, but even free to play, you're not really going to use too many of the rares too often. Past, I'd say, stage maybe chapter 10, chapter 11, your SR start becoming way more powerful. Even at A1, A0, some of them are going to be huge here, right? The one thing about the Westwind, the caveat here about Westwind is, even though it is the most broken weapon in the game, in my opinion, you do at least require minimum A3 to see the big differences. So if you don't have A3, it actually does fall off quite a bit. I would even put it in S, but with A1 to A3, this thing, it becomes just extremely OP. All right, guys, it's Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.